Hi, welcome back to another RoastLog run-through. My name is Lindsay, and today I'm going to change things up a little bit. I want to talk about some of the functionality in RoastLog that was specifically designed to support personnel within your organization that are responsible for buying coffees. So for those of you who are green coffee buyers out there, this is the video for you. Starting on our inventory page, you'll recognize a lot of what we've discussed in the past where we've grouped coffees based on origin. So here are your Brazils, maybe some Colombians down here, each row representing a lot of coffee. Now, in this case, if you look in the second column, you can see we've got coffees in warehouses, others in-house. Sometimes they're highlighted if they're running low, red if they're critical and need to be addressed. But what I specifically wanted to dive into a little bit more is these ones labeled contracted. So if you notice one here, I've created just for this demonstration. You can actually filter down to all your contracted coffee. In this case, it's one coffee. This contracted coffee is different than one that, say, was a spot contract, something purchased for relatively immediate use. In this case, when I say contracted coffee, I'm actually referring to a forward contract or maybe a relationship coffee. Perhaps it's part of a pre-harvest agreement. Okay, so just to distinguish that from a spot purchase. So if you're a green buyer and you want to use RoastLog to manage that type of green inventory, what you would do is go ahead and create a new contracted bean. I'm just going to go ahead and redisplay all my inventory. But up here on the action bar, you'll notice there's a new contracted bean button. So if I click on this, it'll open up a form. And here you'll notice, I won't go into all the detail. You can pause and review this on your own. But there are tons of details that can be tracked if you're interested. I'll just highlight a few. So things like your lot identifiers, your amount, number of bags, and the bag size, right? You can identify producers. And if you've developed a list of producers that you've used in the past, we create a library that you can select from. So you can organize those. Obviously, your contracted details, price, PO numbers, who you're contracting from. But I also want to point out your purchasing terms can actually also be listed in here. We've got a little lookup glossary of delivery terms. Likewise, there are sample types, if there was a sample associated with this, contract terms, crop year, date, cultivar information, and any physical attributes that you may or may not have at this point. Once you create that coffee, if I go back to the inventory page, this is what it would look like. So I'll go to this Brazilian coffee that I created earlier. All the details that you decided to track earlier then are actually listed here below. And if you do this over time, what you'll find is on the inventory page, now you not only have your in-warehouse coffee at Royal, Annex, Intercontinental, so on and so forth, but you also get your physical inventory that's in-house, deliveries that are en route that have been released, and contracted coffees. So then what's the workflow that falls out of that? If that coffee has been harvested and now is ready to be moved to a warehouse, you can select that coffee, go to the actions menu, and move that coffee. At that point, what you can do is start capturing information related to the movement of this coffee. So for example, if you want to move that coffee to one of your warehouses domestically, let's say we're going to put that at Continental, you can decide how many of the contracted coffees are actually going to be moved. Let's go and put 5 bags, let's say, just for demonstrative purposes. If there's been a change in price, you can reflect that here. You can identify what the order date is, anticipated arrival date, and you can capture costs associated with that coffee. If we do that, you can say that you're going to incur some storage fees, some shipping fees. All those fees will actually be rolled up into the total cost of acquisition of that coffee. If I hit move, I can actually go to my inventory page and I see it. So here, 5 out of those 9 bags that were contracted were actually moved to the annex. It's created a new row. It's versioned so you can differentiate the coffee that remains on contract but hasn't been shipped and that which has been shipped to the warehouse. We do that so you can actually track the independent costs associated with acquisition of that coffee. And that's it. I wanted to show that to you and make sure that you understood that workflow. I think in the next video, what I'd like to show you then is maybe some of the sampling functionality that would underlie the green coffee inventory contracted management features. All that said, if you're interested in learning more about RoastLog, don't hesitate to reach out to us at info@roastlog.com or visit us on our website, roastlog.com. Start today with a free trial, and we look forward to working with you.